Folks, that's Vice President Kamala Harris finishing her rally there in Flint, Michigan earlier today. She was in Detroit. Michigan is crucial to the blue wall for Democrats. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, those are what they consider to be must-win states. Of course, they also are leading narrow leads in Nevada and Arizona. Nevada looking a little bit better than Arizona. And then, of course, you have the battleground states of North Carolina as well as Georgia. But these three are absolutely crucial for the prospects of Democrats winning. Keep in mind, Hillary Clinton lost that blue wall in 2016, and that's how she lost to Donald Trump. I want to go to my panel right now. Michael Imhotep hosts the African History Network show out of Detroit. Also, Kelly Bethea, communication strategist out of D.C. Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi. All right, let's start. Michael, I'll start with you. Again, Michigan, vital. The vice president is going to be meeting with some Arab American leaders. Obviously, that has been a huge issue, what's happening between Israel and happening in Gaza. And that's also one of the reasons why this race is so close. Muslims are a significant voting bloc in the state of Michigan. But also, black turnout has to be crucial. You saw Magic Johnson, also a UAW leader there, both of them introducing her. And Magic Johnson specifically spoke about the importance of black men supporting Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
Yeah, Roland, you know, it's a number of things going on. This is fantastic what's taking place. She was in Detroit as well as Flint, Michigan today. Michigan is crucial. You mentioned 2016. Donald Trump won Michigan by 10,704 votes, 0.2 of a percentage point. I want to point out that there were 50,000 people who voted in Michigan who voted down ballot but left the top of the ticket blank. Okay. Donald Trump won Michigan by 10,704 votes. So I know you have some people who are disaffected and saying they're going to vote down ballot. That's one of the ways that Trump won in 2016. Two, I think it's important for Vice President Kamala Harris to meet with Arab leaders as well. There was a piece that came out from ABC News this morning. There was a poll that came out. Israelis broadly favor Trump over Harris. And it was something like about 54% of Israelis prefer Trump over Harris. We know that Benjamin Netanyahu wants Trump back in office. So as I posted on social media today, voting non-committal is stupid. I'm just going to put that on the record. Voting non-committal is stupid. I understand people are concerned about Palestine, but you have to look at the big picture. Donald Trump has already said he will withdraw all humanitarian support to Palestine. He will let Benjamin Netanyahu do whatever he wants. And keep in mind, when he was president before, he imposed a Muslim ban on Muslims coming from 7 countries, which also increased anti-Muslim sentiment here in America. Okay, so Donald Trump has to be defeated. African-American men also have to be micro-targeted. So, yes, she is behind with white men who are college uneducated, as they talked about this morning on MSNBC. I think it's good that Bruce Springsteen put his endorsement in the video he did. But don't forget about African-American men, because recent polls are showing about 25 or 26% of African-American men under the age of 50 are saying they're voting for Donald Trump. So yeah, but 32 more days.
But here's the deal with that, Matt. I mean, the reality is when you look at that, a lot, an NAACP poll, a lot of those folks didn't even vote in 2016 and 2020. So obviously that is a concern.
I understand.
As we say. Today is Friday, October 4th, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Vice President Kamala Harris is in Flint, Michigan, as we speak. It's a lot we're going to cover, including the jobs report. But right now, Hall of Famer Irvin Magic Johnson is introducing her. Let's go live to Flint, Michigan.
Oh, that's number one. Kamala's opponent promised a lot of things last time to the black community that he did not deliver on. And we got to make sure we help black men understand that. So that's why I'm here, to make sure I help black men understand. First, get out and vote, and then vote for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris. She's for women's rights to make their own decision with their body. We got to clap for that. Now, I'm about to bring her out because you came to hear her. You had some great speakers here. I see the UAW president. I was really blown away because not only did my father work there, my brother Larry, my brother Michael, his wife Ronnie. I got now nieces and nephews who belong to the union, so thank you for what you're doing. She's always been for labor and union. Kamala Harris has always been for labor and union. And that's never going to change. Now, this is the year for women. Hold on. We just saw what Mexico did. Elected its first woman president ever. So you know where I'm going with this. Let's make sure we, here in the United States, elect our first woman president in Kamala Harris. Thank you, Michigan, for allowing me to come home. I always love coming home. But the main thing here is we gotta do a lot of work before November the 5th to elect Kamala Harris as our next president of the United States. So please, we're gonna be motivated when you leave here, but let's go to work. When we fight, when we vote, God bless you. Thank you.
We fight for a future where we protect the fundamental freedom to organize. We fight for a future where workers, all workers, are treated with dignity and respect. A future where we tap into the ambition and the aspirations of the American people and build what I call an opportunity economy, so that every American has an opportunity to buy a home, start a business, build wealth, intergenerational wealth for their family. Over the last 3.5 years, our nation has seen historic small business creation as an example of that focus. In Michigan alone, we have seen more than 500,000 new small business applications. And when I am president, I plan to build on that progress and that success, including by raising the startup deduction, tax deduction for small businesses from $5,000 to $50,000 to help more entrepreneurs start a small business. I'll tell you guys, my sister and I were raised by our mother who worked very hard, and we lived on an apartment above a daycare center. And it was run by and owned by the woman that we called our second mother, who lived 2 houses down. She was a small business owner, and her name was Miss Shelton. And I grew up as a child knowing about who our small businesses are, right? They're leaders in the community, they're civic leaders, they hire locally, they train. And so that's one of the reasons I'm focused on small businesses, as part of how we lift up the middle class in America's economy. We need to also build more housing in America. Housing is too expensive. My mother saved up for years until I was a teenager when she was able to buy our first home. And right now we have a serious housing shortage in America, and that's part of what is driving up costs. And so we're going to cut red tape. We're going to work with the private sector, and we'll build 3 million new homes by the end of my first term. Including providing first-time home buyers with a $25,000 down payment assistance so they can just get their foot literally in the door to be able to invest in the American dream, which not everyone has access to these days. We need to lower the cost of living because, look, our economy, while we're making good progress, just this morning, in fact, we got a solid jobs report. Over 250,000 jobs created last month. Unemployment fell. And just a few weeks ago, the Federal Reserve cut down interest rates, which is going to be great for a lot of folks. But there's still more work we need to do. Prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. And so we have a plan to lower costs on everything from health care to groceries, including what I've done in my career as Attorney General, which is we got to take on corporate price gouging. We got to take on what we need to do to understand that if you want to grow the middle class, we need more middle class tax cuts. And the tax cut that is part of my plan will give a tax cut to 100 million Americans. We need to expand child tax credit, and I will do that to expand it to $6,000 so that for the first year of a child's life, their parents have the resources that they need to be able to buy a crib or a car seat. And in that very critical stage of their child's development, just be able to do more than get by, but be able to get ahead. And I say all this to say, I will always put the middle class and working families first. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from. I will never forget where I come from. And we know we cannot have a strong middle class without American manufacturing. Over the last 3.5 years, we brought manufacturing back to America. We created 730,000 manufacturing jobs and announced the opening of more than 20 new auto plants in the United States. And we did it by investing in American industry and American workers. And I want to make sure that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century. So under my plan, we will invest in the industries that built America, like steel, iron, and the great American auto industry. So we can ensure that the next generation of breakthroughs, from advanced batteries to electric vehicles, are not only invented but built right here in America by American union workers.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Junior.
Yeah, that's actually, apologies, as a UAW worker who was speaking earlier. We did get a chance to speak with Quentin Folks, who is the deputy campaign manager. We will, of course, show that to you. But right now, though, while he is introducing Vice President Kamala Harris, I want to show you this ad that the Lincoln Project put out working with actor Wendell Pierce. Really, really strong ad. So let's go ahead, guys, if y'all can set that up, and let's roll it.
The story of being black in America is filled with never-ending chapters of challenge. Driving while black, banking while black, parenting while black. But what about voting while black? They always tell you this election will be different, and it rarely is. So many promises made. Promises of economic justice and social equity that never quite make it to your pocket or your porch. But this election, there really is only one choice. This time, she is the choice. Now I know you're thinking, I've never voted for a woman and I'm not going to start now. Ask yourself, why not? And maybe you'll find it's not about her. It's about you. What you want for your family, for your future. Because if you vote for what you want, the choice becomes clear. It's Kamala. Listen to your gut. Your heart is telling you that Kamala Harris is the right person for the job. It's time for courage, for boldness. It's time to come together for change. It's time to be a man. Vote for a woman.
That, of course, is the second ad that Lincoln Project has put out specifically targeting men. Of course, Sam Elliott, the actor, did one earlier. We showed that to you last week, and it speaks volumes, if you will, because when you look at men in terms of who are voting, Vice President Kamala Harris is behind white men, Latino men, and also we're showing the numbers with black men. Some polls are showing anywhere from 16 to 26%. We've had Chris Toller with the Black Voter Project saying he thinks that number is way too high. But the campaign recognizes it is an issue that they actually have to deal with. And so, you know, we were talking to Chris just the other day, and one of the things we were talking about is that historically what the numbers actually show when it comes to black men voting in these various elections. And it also goes to show you what these numbers look like in terms of historically. The lowest Republicans have ever gotten was 5%. In 2008 when President Barack Obama ran. And so, again, this is an issue that the campaign really has been confronting, has really been dealing with. So this is the chart right here. And so there's no coincidence. You had those two black men who were introducing Vice President Kamala Harris, who now has come out in Flint, Michigan. Let's go live to that rally.
It's good to be back in Michigan. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And Eric Price, thank you for your leadership of UAW 651 and all the work that you do. And I want to thank all the leaders who are here. We got thousands of leaders who are here. And I thank you. Including all our friends in labor, Sean Fain, April Barrett, all of the incredible elected leaders, starting with the Governor Whitmer, who is amazing, and is my friend, my dear friend, Mayor Neely, Senator Stabenow, Senator Peters, Representative Slotkin, who we will elect to the United States Senate. And did you all see Magic Johnson? Remember his number? 32. Today we got 32 days until the election. So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it. And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end. This is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog, and we know we have some hard work ahead. But here's the thing about us, we like hard work. We like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is good work. And with your help in November, we will win. We will win. We are not playing around. So listen, we know this election is about two very different visions for our nation. One focused on the past, and ours, which is focused on the future. We are fighting for a future where we tap into the ambitions and the aspirations of the American people and build what I call an opportunity economy, so every American has an opportunity to own a home, build wealth, start a business. And I'm going to speak about do we have small business owners in the house right here? Right? Okay, so on the economy, I'm just going to spend a minute on small businesses. Because let me tell you, so growing up, our mother often worked very long hours. And so my sister Maya and I, we would go over to Miss Shelton's house. Miss Shelton was from Louisiana, and we called her our second mother. And Miss Shelton was a small business owner. And so from being a child, I know who our small business owners are. They are community leaders, civic leaders. They mentor. They hire locally. They build up the community. They are part of the fabric of the community. And small business owners are the backbone of America's economy. So, in my plan to build an opportunity economy, one of the things I will do is raise the startup deduction from $5,000 to $50,000 to help entrepreneurs start their small business. You heard Eric talk about it. We need to build more housing in America. You know, my mother saved up for years to buy our first home. I was a teenager by the time she saved up enough to do that. And right now we know there's a serious housing shortage in our country, and it is part of what is driving up costs. So we will cut the red tape and work with the private sector to build 3 million new homes and provide first-time home buyers with a $25,000 down payment assistance, so you can just literally get your foot in the door and you'll handle the rest. We need to lower the cost of living. Look, our economy is making good progress. Just this morning, we got a solid jobs report, right? Over 250,000 jobs created last month. Unemployment fell. And just a few weeks ago, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates, which helps. But there's still more we need to do. Prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. And I have a plan on lowering costs on everything from health care to groceries, including taking on corporate price gouging. Because as Attorney General, I saw what happens where there are a few of them, not everybody, but those who take advantage of desperate people, in particular in the middle of an emergency. There needs to be consequence. I will give a tax cut to 100 million Americans, including $6,000, extending and expanding the child tax credit. So during the first year of a child's life, young parents have the support they need to be able to buy a car seat, to buy a crib, to take care of their child during that first year of their life, knowing it's about setting them on a path to do everything they have a natural desire to do. And look, I say all this to say, I will always put the middle class and working families first. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from. I will never forget where I come from. And we know we cannot have a strong middle class without American manufacturing. So over the last 3.5 years, we have brought manufacturing back to America, creating 730,000 manufacturing jobs. We announced the opening of more than 20 new auto plants in the United States. And we did it by investing in American industry and American workers. And I will make sure that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century. Which is why, under my plan, we will invest in the industries that built America, like steel, iron, and the great American auto industry. I see you, Sean. And we will ensure that the next generation of breakthroughs, from advanced batteries to electric vehicles, are not only invented but built right here in America by American union workers. And Michigan, let us be clear, contrary to what my opponent is suggesting, I will never tell you what kind of car you have to drive. But here's what I will do. I will invest in communities like Flint. Flint, which helped build the auto industry and the UAW. We will retool existing factories, hire local, work with unions to create good-paying jobs, including jobs that do not require a college degree. Because we understand a college degree is not the only measure of whether a worker has skills and experience to get the job done. In fact, part of my plan is to outline all of the federal jobs that should not require a college degree and make that clear. And when I'm elected, I'm going to challenge the private sector to take on the same approach. And then there's Donald Trump. A very different approach. So Donald Trump makes big promises, and he always fails to deliver. He said he was the only one who could bring back America's manufacturing jobs. Remember that? And then America lost nearly 200,000 manufacturing jobs when he was president. Including tens of thousands of jobs in Michigan. And those losses started before the pandemic, making Donald Trump one of the biggest losers of manufacturing jobs in American history. The auto industry was a disaster. He promised workers workers in Warren that the auto industry would, I'll quote, not lose one plant during his presidency. And then American automakers announced the closure of 6 auto plants when he was president. We need a medic over here. We need a medic over here. Right here. Okay, can everyone part so the medic can come through, please? Let's let the medic through. Okay. Okay. He's okay. All right. We're good. We got each other. Good. So, remembering again what Donald Trump talked about versus what he did, then American automakers announced the closure of 6 plants when he was president, including General Motors in Warren and Stellantis in Detroit. Thousands of Michigan auto workers lost their jobs. And when it came to building the cars of the future, Donald Trump sat on the sidelines and let China dominate. And then he talks down to American workers, saying we can't compete with Chinese workers. And make no mistake, Donald Trump is no friend of labor. He encouraged automakers to move their plants out of Michigan so they could pay their workers less. And when the UAW went on strike to demand higher wages that they deserved, Donald Trump went to a non-union shop, don't forget. And he attacked the UAW. And he said striking and collective bargaining don't make, quote, a damn bit of difference. About striking workers that you should fire them. That's how he talks about union labor. That's how he talks about workers. But Flint, we know strong unions mean higher wages, better health care, and greater dignity for union members and for everyone. And on top of all of that, Donald Trump signed a $2 trillion tax cut that mostly went to the wealthy and big corporations, not to working people. And now he is making the same empty promises to the people of Michigan he did before. But we will not be fooled. We will not be gaslighted. Donald Trump's track record is a disaster for working people. And if he wins again, it will be more of the same. Check this out. 2 days ago, his running mate, maybe, no, but how about that Tim Walz, by the way? So 2 days ago, Donald Trump's running mate suggested that if Trump wins, he might let the Grand River Assembly plant in Lansing close down. The same plant that our administration helped save earlier this year along with 650 union jobs. Michigan, we together fought hard for those jobs, and you deserve a president who won't put them at risk. And for anybody watching, you know, if you want to learn more about Donald Trump's plans, just Google Project 2025. It is a detailed and dangerous blueprint for what he will do if he is elected president. Donald Trump will give billionaires and corporations massive tax cuts, attack unions, cut Social Security and Medicare, and impose a Trump sales tax, a 20% tax on everyday basic necessities, which will cost the average family nearly $4,000 a year. And on top of all this, Donald Trump intends to end the Affordable Care Act. Even after he tried to repeal it time and time again when he was president, and still has no plan to replace it. You watched the debate. You watched the debate. You saw that. He said he, quote, has concepts of a plan. Concepts. No, you know, I have said that I do believe he is an unserious man. And the consequences of him being president again are absolutely critically serious. Because think about it, even on health care, he has a concept of a plan. So he's going to threaten the health insurance of 45 million people in our country based on a concept? To take us back, you remember that? When insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions? Remember what that was like? Well, Michigan, we are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back. No, we are not going back. No. Because we will move forward. Ours is a fight for the future. Ours is a fight for the future, and ours is a fight for freedom. Like the fundamental freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. Out from the election, it's important that we remind people how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would overturn Roe v. Wade, and they did. And now more than 1 in 3 women in America lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban. Many with no exceptions, even for rape and incest, which is immoral. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. And here's what I want to say. Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on other hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights, like the freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to join a union, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, and the freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water. Flint, you know all too well, Flint, that clean water should be a right for everyone, not just for the people who can afford it. And as president, I will continue to work with communities like Flint to ensure you not only have clean water, but the opportunity to recover economically and thrive. Michigan, it all comes down to this. We are all here together because we know what is at stake, and we love our country. We love country. We love our country. We know it is one of the highest forms of patriotism to then fight for the ideals of our country and to fight to realize the promise of America. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. So, Election Day is in 32 days. And already nearly 2 million ballots are in the hands of Michigan voters alone. So if you have received your ballot, please do not wait. Fill it out and return it today. Early voting starts statewide on October 26th. And now is the time to make your plan to vote. Because, folks, the election is here. The election is here. And we need to energize, organize, and mobilize. And remember, your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. So, Flint, today I ask, are you ready to make your voices heard? Bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Folks, that's Vice President Kamala Harris finishing her rally there in Flint, Michigan earlier today. She was in Detroit. Michigan is crucial to the blue wall for Democrats. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, those are what they consider to be must-win states. Of course, they also are leading narrow leads in Nevada and Arizona. Nevada looking a little bit better than Arizona. And then, of course, you have the battleground states of North Carolina as well as Georgia. But these three are absolutely crucial for the prospects of Democrats winning. Keep in mind, Hillary Clinton lost that blue wall in 2016, and that's how she lost to Donald Trump. I want to go to my panel right now. Michael Imhotep hosts the African History Network show out of Detroit. Also, Kelly Bethea, communication strategist out of D.C. Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi. All right, let's start. Michael, I'll start with you. Again, Michigan, vital. The vice president is going to be meeting with some Arab American leaders. Obviously, that has been a huge issue, what's happening between Israel and happening in Gaza. And that's also one of the reasons why this race is so close. Muslims are a significant voting bloc in the state of Michigan, but also black turnout has to be crucial. You saw Magic Johnson, also a UAW leader there, both of them introducing her. And Magic Johnson specifically spoke about the importance of black men supporting Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
Yeah, Roland, you know, it's a number of things going on. This is fantastic what's taking place. She was in Detroit as well as Flint, Michigan today. Michigan is crucial. You mentioned 2016. Donald Trump won Michigan by 10,704 votes, 0.2 of a percentage point. I want to point out that there were 50,000 people who voted in Michigan who voted down ballot but left the top of the ticket blank. Okay? Donald Trump won Michigan by 10,704 votes. So I know you have some people who are disaffected and saying they're going to vote down ballot. That's one of the ways that Trump won in 2016. Two, I think it's important for Vice President Kamala Harris to meet with Arab leaders as well. There was a piece that came out from ABC News this morning. There was a poll that came out. Israelis broadly favor Trump over Harris. And it was something like about 54% of Israelis prefer Trump over Harris. We know that Benjamin Netanyahu wants Trump back in office. So as I posted on social media today, voting non-committal is stupid. I'm just going to put that on the record. Voting non-committal is stupid. I understand people are concerned about Palestine, but you have to look at the big picture. Donald Trump has already said he will withdraw all humanitarian support to Palestine. He will let Benjamin Netanyahu do whatever he wants. And keep in mind, when he was president before, he imposed a Muslim ban on Muslims coming from 7 countries, which also increased anti-Muslim sentiment here in America. Okay, so Donald Trump has to be defeated. African-American men also have to be micro-targeted. So, yes, she is behind with white men who are college uneducated, as they talked about this morning on MSNBC. I think it's good that Bruce Springsteen put his endorsement in the video he did. But don't forget about African-American men, because recent polls are showing about 25 or 26% of African-American men under the age of 50 are saying they're voting for Donald Trump. So yeah, but 32 more days. But
here's the deal with that, Matt. I mean, the reality is when you look at that, a lot at NAACP poll, a lot of those folks didn't even vote in 2016 and 2020. So obviously that is a concern.
I understand.
As we said, Matt, we had Christopher Toller on the show the other day, and we talked about the numbers, and he showed the data from 1970 to present day in terms of black men voting. Of course, the highest was 72 with 23%. Then, of course, it was 18%, 13 in 2016. Go to my iPad. It was 13 in 2016, 19 in 2020. But again, the key is not just black men. Again, that you've been seeing the increasing numbers even when it comes to young black women. And so it's been a steady trajectory up. That's really what their focus is. So they want to close strong in the last 32 days.
I think that's right. And it's interesting you say that, because I saw a headline today that said women, despite whether they're black or white, are generally becoming more liberal, is what the study that I saw was mentioning. So I think there's a question of, one, you're right that that's what they're doing in these final days. But I think there's a question of how many of those voters are going to come out and vote, for Harris Walz the way that they need to. And, polling is kind of a tough thing, because you just obviously never know exactly what's going to happen. But I think especially following that vice presidential debate, that's not going to really move the needle. I think it's one, people need to get out there and vote, number one. But number two, I think the Harris Walz campaign needs to do what they've done thus far, which is talk about numbers and talk about, I don't remember the name of the types of issues, but I guess kitchen table issues, where they're talking about economics and what kind of credit they're going to give you for this, what kind of credit they're going to give you for that, because that is what I think will get people out to vote, number one. And number two, if there really are people who are truly undecided at this point, get them over the fence, because once they see deliverables, that's really what I think will turn the tide for those who have not decided which lever they're going to pull yet.
Kelly, again, right now, at the end of the day, it's turnout. And that really is reaching as many people as possible. And that's really what the focus is in the last month. You don't have the time to really be explaining various policies. It's all about reaching those folks, because voting has already started.
Not only has voting already started, but as far as Election Day itself, we are literally a month and a day away from Election Day. So time truly is of the essence. But to Matt's point about the study coming out saying that women and other marginalized groups are becoming more liberal, especially regarding polling, there's a reason for that. It's not like we are just saying, oh, I don't want to be a Republican anymore, I just decided to be a Democrat. No, our freedoms are literally at risk here. Our humanity in this country being recognized is at risk here. It is on trial here literally every day in somebody's jurisdiction. And we are trying to align ourselves with a party, with an ideology that prevents that. frankly, so we can live. And when you look at the right, I don't care if you want, lower taxes and you're more of a capitalist than a tree hugger or whatever you think the stereotypes are for either side. It almost is irrelevant when you have one side that is so against your presence on this planet, specifically in this country. It makes no sense to be aligned with that type of ideology so long as the powers that be are coming out against your humanity. So there's a reason for studies showing these findings. It's not just, oh, I like Harris. I see a woman and I want a woman to be president. No, our freedoms are literally on the line, and we have less than 30, or we have exactly 31 days to decide whether our humanity is worth fighting for.
Folks, and a little bit later in the show, we're going to be chatting with my interview that I did with Quentin Folks, who's the deputy campaign manager for the campaign of Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. So we'll have that for you.
Everything. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for the online history classes that I teach. We deal with thousands of years of history. I teach 2 online history classes, Saturdays 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Sundays 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays is Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And then on Sundays, Black resistance movements, from Christopher Columbus to the Haitian Revolution and the Black Power movement, 1492 to 1968. So we have classes coming up this weekend. Classes on sale, $80. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it any time. We have a bundle pack of courses. You can register for both classes also. I do a PowerPoint presentation with book references, articles, video clips. Even after the course is over with, you still have access to the full class. You can go back and watch it anytime. And then Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding transatlantic slave trade. That meets this weekend also. You can we have the course outline here that you can download as well. So it gives you a lesson plan for each class session. There's about 100 articles that we reference. The first class is about 200 slides, 15 books that we reference. You don't have to buy any of the books to follow along in class. Click right here to download the lesson plan also, okay? I show you it's a very visual class, so I show you the excerpts of the books right on the screen, all right? Okay, so the content is PG-13. You can use this with your children as well. I don't do a lot of cursing. It's not overly vulgar or anything like that. It's nothing like that, okay?